What is going on, everyone? Sorry I have been MIA for a while. Oh my god. It's been a crazy few months and I apologize for not posting as regularly as I do. In this video, I'm gonna give you guys an update what's been happening. I'm gonna address a few things. So the first thing I want to quickly say is welcome to all my YouTube subscribers. I appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel. I'm glad you guys find the content valuable. That's awesome. On the social media side of things, especially Instagram, I've been getting a lot of scam accounts and it's really grinding my gears because you can't get in contact with Instagram. They're just all bots and it's very hard to get in contact with a human over there. Last Monday, I had about, I think 12 spam accounts impersonating me. And it really it's upsetting because I get these messages of people like asking, you know, is this you? Where's my money? That being said, I will never ask you guys for money. I don't trade for other people. And just be cautious. It sucks that people are giving these scammers money. I understand these accounts look very, very realistic. So just be careful going out there and looking for me on social media. With my trading, I have started, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I have started trading at 4 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time here in Sydney. What made me kind of do this is because every December I go through and reflect on the year. One thing I was doing is going from my ASFX journal, my personal trading journal, and all the books that I just wrote in throughout the year. And I tried to narrow down what can I do better? What is something in my life that is lacking that I can improve on next year? And with my trading, yeah, cool, I'm profitable, but I really want to get to that point where trading, you just take it next level. I'm not the best trader I want to be, and I know I have a lot of potential. We all have a lot of potential, and this is why journaling is so important, to find out your weak points and kind of level them up, focus on them. So one of my strengths is I am a morning person. I am up early. I love getting up in the morning because it's just me, myself, and I. No distractions, no phone calls. My wife's still sleeping, my cat's still sleeping, everyone's still sleeping. The world is just shut out. And I get some of my best work done first thing in the morning. I used to wake up 3:30 a.m. every morning, get to the gym, no one's there, just me. I can focus on myself. One of the things that was on repeat that I kept seeing in my journals every time I logged my trading session. So every time I get to my desk, I look how I'm feeling, my emotions, my performance, everything like that. The biggest thing I saw was I was impulsive, I was fidgety, I was hyperactive. So with the ASFX knowledge I have and what Austin Silver has taught me, over the years of analyzing, showing up every day with the consistency, I've noticed more patterns, I've seen things here, there, and I've found something that really works for me. And I've been getting a lot of messages from the ASFX community and other people on social media. So let's jump into the charts and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. I had a bunch of markups on my screens. I had to delete them because this is the third time I'm doing this video. Second time I knocked it out. It was perfect, but the audio really stuffed up. And and yeah, so the audio stuffed up and it was just, I couldn't fix it. So third time's a charm, right? Anyway, I had a whole bunch of markups. So this is gonna seem like I'm cherry picking a trade, but I'm not. This is a trade I was actually analyzing. It's the same thing over and over again. But let me give you guys a rundown on what I'm doing. For you guys that are in ASFX, also a quick note, if you're new to ASFX or you're a struggling trader, there is no holy grail system or method in the market. I don't want you guys to look at this and be like, hey, this is really cool. If it interests you, that's great, test it. But if you're new to ASFX, focus on the systems Austin teaches and focus on his advice. The reason I say that is because you don't want to get too sidetracked or distracted. The ASFX systems work, I've tested them thousands of times, back tested it, forward tested, and it's what's made me profitable, plus a whole bunch of other traders. When you'll eventually get to a point you're trading, you would have enough screen time and experience. Your eyes will pick up certain patterns where you might question and be like, hey, maybe I can do this a little bit different. Maybe this will give me a better entry. Maybe if I manage my trade this way, I can get more out of the trade. Stuff like that only comes with experience. And although we can give you the advice on what to do, you got to experience it firsthand. So what I'm about to show you is some advanced stuff, but if you're at ASFX, you'll gain some knowledge from this and some value for sure. So jumping back into the charts, first thing I want to point out to you guys is on the far left, we have the 1 minute, in the middle, we have the 5 minute, and on the far right here, we have the 15-minute chart. So I'm gonna run you guys down on some of the things that were a problem and I had to kind of solve solve them basically and kind of pull apart the strategy and find out what I can do to get involved. Now, like I was saying earlier in the video, what I came across was the biggest problem is if I wanted to trade in the morning, I noticed one of two things. The move has already been made. So if I woke up at 4 a.m., I couldn't find any entries. And the second one was price is just simply trending and it's holding the 8 EMA. So I would have to wait an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours for price to eventually pull back to the 21 or 50 EMA to find an ASFX entry. And by the time that happened, it was the London session of the next day. So what I have done is I've found a way to jump in on the short-term trend using the 8 and 21 EMA downshifts. This idea stemmed a few months ago when James Bruce joined ASFX, and he's killing it with the 8 and 21 shifts, obviously with other confluences as well with the ASFX methods. I started kind of testing these theories and seeing like how powerful those short-term trends are, and they do work. So another thing to kind of stem from that as well, sorry if I'm getting too off track here, I'm just trying to kind of get all my brain out to you guys, is pretty much the way I was in the afternoon, how I was very fidgety and just hyperactive, it was hard for me to focus. And I even have a whole set of rules to do how to handle these situations where I actively trade 12 pairs. If let's say 7 out of those 12 pairs were perfect setups when I build my watch list, my brain would fry. I wouldn't know which pair to focus on, even though I had a set of rules to tell me, focus on that pair because this is happening, or focus on this pair because that is happening. I would just malfunction and just shut down, and I'd end up making human errors. So going forward, I'm only trading US 30. For now, I will eventually add more in, but the way I'm trading, I can easily get an entry a day or multiple entries for that matter. And I'll show you that right now. So on the 15-minute chart, you can see this is later in the day. I have this green box over here, and what that represents is the New York session, because I'm now trading the tail end to the last few hours of the New York session. And then you can see how price, the 8 EMA is below the 21, which means we are now in a short-term downtrend. So if I come over to the 15-minute chart over here, same concept. The 5-minute chart. The 5-minute is now in a short-term downtrend. So it's holding the 8 EMA on the 5-minute chart, and it's holding the 8 EMA on the 15-minute chart. See, now I come to the 1 minute to find how can I get involved in that short-term downtrend in this case. I'll talk about the indicator on the bottom is the TDI indicator as well. I'll talk about that in a minute, and that's a big part of my entries. After I had to kind of figure out how can I get involved into the 8 EMA and take advantage of those trends, I needed to figure out where do I put my stop loss so risk to reward is still in my favor. So if I delete this, I got this boxed off to show you where the entry was. If you're an ASFX member, you guys know how the D1 system works, or at least you should if you've taken the advanced course. We are looking for divergence on the 1 minute with a 50 EMA break essentially. There's a few other things that go into it, but let's just say I'm using the 50 EMA break for this for my testing and how I'm going forward. I am testing the 8 and the 21 as well, but the 50 seems to be working the best. So this is simply just all the knowledge Austin Silva has taught me. I took this trade last week, and this was my entry. And now where do you put your stop loss? Yeah, okay, you can put it up here. You can put it at the pin high. You can put it at the next high. But I wanted, my personality and how I know myself, I wanted a systematic rules-based approach, not just above a certain level, which works perfectly fine. I've been doing that for a while, but I just needed a little bit of, an extra rule basically. So what I've been using is a Fibonacci extension of the most recent low to the high before my entry presented. So in this case, from here up to the high and then back down. I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to use a Fibonacci extension, but essentially that is what it is. And I'm using a 1.172 Fibonacci extension for my stop loss. So it's a rules-based stop, consistent every time I take a trade, and that's what I'm doing. Breaks to 50. You can see now, if I make this bigger, what happens to the 8 and 21 EMA. The 8 EMA is the yellow and the red EMA is the 21. It goes into a short-term downtrend. I'm not closing the trade as it pulls back up because the 8 and 21 are still trending, and this trade goes about 4R before coming back up, breaking above the 8 and the 21, and then kind of coming back up. With the other indicator you guys see on the bottom, it is the TDI indicator. You can see exactly the same thing. I've just added the Bollinger Bands onto it, and you can see it just blown up here. I'm using the black line is actually the RSI. So if I close that and I pop this open, the green line is the RSI. What I'm using is the RSI to determine my entries, and I'm looking for overbought or oversold conditions. Basically, this still requires a lot of testing because my trade management and risk management is what's really driving the system at the minute. The entries are on par because it is what it is, and basically my trade management just needs to be tidied up a little bit. So what I mean by that is if price breaks below the 50, like I was just showing you here, if it broke back above it, I would cut the trade as a loss. Don't care what I'm at, what's going to happen, what's happening with anything else. I'm cutting the trade. If it breaks back below the 50, I'm back in. Doing that has its advantages and its disadvantages as well, because you could do that for hours, in, out, and you'll get burned by taking small losses and your account will just bleed dry from paper cuts, essentially. So I need to eliminate that process. What I'm doing is I'm focusing on the 1 minute 821 downshift. And for you guys at AceFX, the TDI indicator following the L50 on the 1 minute, which is in the sell zone at this point while the entry presented. I've tested this numerous amounts. I've tested it a lot, and it really is coming together as a really cool kind of system for me to trade. I'm using everything AceFX has kind of taught me going forward. I will definitely talk more about it in the future, but for now, it is still something I'm developing. I just don't want you guys to go ahead and start trading it. You can test it how I've kind of described, but it does require some fine tuning to really get those entries and the trade management on par. So yeah, that is what I'm doing. I'm trading US 30 using 1 minute entries with the 5 minute and 15 minute shifts on the EMAs with the 1 minute L50 in the correct zone. And I'm determining those entries by the 50 EMA, but also using the second TDI. There doesn't have to be divergence on the 1 minute to take the entries. That is a big thing. So if you're in AceFX, you understand the D1. You can see that we have this high set over here and then a higher high, but there is no divergence on the TDI indicator on the RSI. So even if this did break to 50, also it wouldn't be a correct AceFX entry. So this opens up a lot more opportunity for me to get involved in these trends. The risk to reward is very stable. My trade management keeps me kind of safe from taking massive, if I risk 1% on these trades, if it breaks it back above the 50, I'm closing the trade. So I'm only taking a small loss. I'm not taking the full 1% I put on the trade. So 2022, it's going to be a big year for a lot of people, I can just imagine. Get rid of all the crap and the shit that's happening in the world right now. If everyone kind of just tunnel visions for the first 6 months of 2022, focus on yourselves, write down your goals now. Like if you're watching this far into the video, I appreciate you guys, but write down your goals, what you want to do in 2022, what you want to accomplish. Set some realistic goals and then aim for the moon for the rest of your goals. Because if you overshoot, it's going to give you some drive and motivation because you'll be surprised what you can achieve in such a short amount of time. Trading for me is really going to be, with this year, becoming profitable was a great transition. This is my first full year trading full time. And don't get me wrong, it's been stressful. It's been very stressful. I don't recommend it, but doing it full time has taught me a lot, and it's really accelerated my whole learning curve. I think it's 10 or 11 months I've been consistently profitable now. In terms of how I want to make my trading and how I see myself as a trader personally, it's going to be big next year because I'm really going to put trading as the foundation of everything I do. 2020 this year, basically, I focused a lot on YouTube. I ended up getting this channel monetized, which was a massive goal. I did it in I think about 5 or 6 months. I got 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched minutes. I got my Instagram socials to 10,000 followers. I released a backtesting course with Austin Silva, which has helped a lot of traders, and it's so good to see a platform like that really kind of help traders progress in their trading and find their own edge. And a few other milestones I've hit this year as well. So it's been a good year, and I've just been taking the time to reflect. So if you haven't heard from me much, that is why. And next year is going to be even bigger, and I really am working. I started a lot of projects this year that I unfortunately didn't finish. I wanted to finish them this year, but I didn't. My expectations weren't correct. I started them, but they will be done next year. So I'm excited to get all this value and knowledge out to you guys. I know I said this year I'll be releasing a free course, Beginner's Guide for Trading. It is in the works. This is basically the course layout. I got some stuff on the left that you guys can't see because it's a little secret project I'm working on, but this is mostly the course where I will have everything laid out, and I'm still kind of stemming off everything else. So, you know, trading terminals, platforms, expectations, goals, wires, brokers, terminology, language, what is it, how we make money. And this will basically stem all the way down to market psychology, human psychology, how the markets move, everything you would need as a trader, basically in one spot, which is pretty cool. There is a ton of this stuff online anyway. I'm sure you guys know you can YouTube anything and find this information, but I feel like the way I want to deliver it will have its own little unique twist. And hopefully you guys can just get a different perspective of how I see the market and how I explain it. So I hope you guys got some value out of this video. Bit of an update for you guys, where I've been, what I've been doing. Sorry for the inactivity, but 2022 will be very exciting. I want to try and impact a lot of traders out there in a good way, where we can, you know, I've experienced firsthand the power trading has. That's not even compounding, just being able to take control of your day-to-day life and really disconnect from that 9-to-5 routine. If you're in a job you hate, once again, it sounds easy, but it's gonna take time, and I'm all about setting realistic expectations. I don't want you guys to think it can happen in a week or in a month. So that's kind of my goals. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, you know, you can quit your job next week. That goal is very achievable if you look at the 12 to 24, you know, months plus. But hopefully we can shorten that learning curve with everything I'm doing, with the knowledge from Austin Silva and the AceFX courses. I believe it's very possible. So hope you guys got some great value out of this video. Once again, it's pretty much Christmas in 5 days, which is very exciting. So hope you guys have a safe and happy Christmas and a happy new year. And I'll see you all in 2022. Till then, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.